So, I moved both of my home loans from Standard Bank to FNB, and I'm going to tell you guys, like, from the get-go, the 3 things I achieved with this move, which got me so excited. The first one is I did all this at 0 cost, so I didn't spend a single cent of my own money to migrate both my home loans. No penalties, like no fees, no surprise payments at all, nothing. Secondly, I managed to get a lower interest rate for both of my home loans. So the one was 150 basis points, or 1.5% lower than what I was currently paying, and the second one was 175 basis points, or 1.75% lower than what I was paying, saving me a combined interest of about 3.25% lower, which is crazy. Just let that sink in, right? Just by switching banks, I have saved myself so much in interest that I would have had to pay. Then the third, and this is just like the cherry on top, is that just by switching my home loan from Standard Bank to FNB, I also managed to get 12,000 Rand in e-bucks, okay? A whole 12,000 Rand, guys, that I can spend on petrol, on food, at Checkers, on toiletries, at Clicks, on clothes, on appliances, on flights at a discount. I can even use my e-bucks to pay on most websites, like Take a Lot, etc. Or I can just transfer all of that money into my savings as well if I wanted to. I mean, the options are endless, really, and this is not a sponsored video, guys. Like, I was so genuinely happy with this move that I just had to share it with you guys. And if you really want to know or want to find out how I did all of this without having to spend a single cent, stay tuned.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Property Talk with Y'alls. And here we talk all things property investing and purchasing, and equipping you guys to make the best property related decisions. Now let's face it, let's face it, times are tough, man. Times are tough. We are currently dealing with high inflation, which means that your rands are not going to stretch or buy as much as they could, and this is happening at a very rapid rate. And if you are a property investor or you own your own property, then you would have been affected by the recent interest rate hikes. I mean, the Reserve Bank has already raised interest rates 5 times. 5 times since November of 2021, adding 200 basis points to the repo rate over an 8-month period. Currently, as of today, as I'm recording this video, prime lending rate, if you want to buy a property, is sitting at 9%. Freaking 9%. And personally, now, when I looked at my monthly repayments for my properties and just my overall budget, I was not happy, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do something about it. And you know how, like every other year, like we're always shopping for cheaper car insurance. I was like, you know what, let's go on the journey of shopping for cheaper interest rates for my 2 home loans. And I can tell you from the get-go that the journey was actually so much easier and cheaper than I had expected, which was a big surprise for me. I honestly think that the biggest barrier for me not doing this earlier and just literally procrastinating was mostly due to ignorance, right? Because I was under the impression that this exercise would cost me a lot of money, and I don't like losing money, right? And that there would be fees upon fees and penalties that I would have to pay for switching banks. And that was not even the case. If you plan properly, you won't even spend a single cent of your own money. Now, of course, guys, like, this is just based off my own experience, or on my own experience of moving from the blue bank to the green bank. So I can't talk about any other banks and costs involved there. But please do your own research, right? Don't make any assumptions. Don't think you're going to pay certain things, because sometimes that's not the case. And just don't play yourself. That's the only thing I ask. Do your own research. Don't play yourself, because you could be saving yourself a lot of money if you just decided to take action. My starting point in this journey, right, was obviously I first approached my bank where I had my 2 home loans with, right? The blue bank, the blue and white bank, Standard Bank. And I reached out to them and asked them to politely just review my interest rates, you know. I've had my first home loan for 5 years, and the second one I've had for 3. And, you know, like, I've been a diligent payer, no issues whatsoever. I've been with this bank since I was a child, right? And I was really hoping to get a positive response from them. But unfortunately, my private banker came back and said that they don't review interest rates once you have signed the offer at the beginning of the home loan. It's pretty much locked, right, for the duration of the home loan period. And I took the variable option, which means it's linked to the prime lending rate. So when the repo rate increases, my interest rate on my home loan also increases, and vice versa. When the repo rate decreases, the interest rate on my home loan also decreases. I mean, I was genuinely shocked that my own bank refused to review my rates. You know, I tried to fight and state my case, and like convince them, but they were just not making an exception for me. And yeah, that's when I decided to shop around and approach FNB. Now, if any of you guys watching this video have a home loan with Standard Bank, just know that they do not allow you to review the interest rate on your home loan. And that's that. And if there's anyone who's actually had a different experience, please do share, because I would really be interested to know about that. Okay, so let's get to the actual process of switching, you know, where to start. And how does this whole process of switching your home loan to FNB actually work? It's important to note that when you are switching your home loan from one bank to another, it's honestly a similar process as you applying for a new home loan, which means that they will have to look at your current financial situation, right, and your current credit score at the time that you apply to switch. So just because you already have a home loan with Bank A, it doesn't mean that the process will be easy, right? And you guaranteed to switch to another bank. It doesn't work like that. If, for example, while you had that home loan with Bank A, your financial situation has gotten worse for some reason, or your credit score has gotten worse, those things will not work in your favor, right? So before you think of switching and applying, just make sure your finances are on track, your credit score is looking good, and you know, these things will really help you with getting a far more competitive rate with the new bank, which is obviously the whole point of trying to switch from Bank A to Bank B. Second thing you need to do is you need to give your current bank a 3-month cancellation notice. Very, very important. This is very important, guys. So I think it's standard practice that most banks need at least 3 months notice if you have any plans to cancel your bond with them, right? By canceling your bond, it means you're either moving it to another bank, or maybe you want to pay up your home loan earlier. And what this does is it protects you from having to pay any cancellation fees. And it's important that you do this even if you haven't started applying to the new bank. So I canceled I gave Standard Bank the 3-month cancellation before I even applied at FNB. And it's so important, right? Even if during the 3-month period you realize, actually, I want to stay with my current bank, I'm no longer canceling, it's fine. Just give them a call and your payments will continue as normal. And the reason you want to do this before you even start the application process with the new bank is that you want the 3 months waiting period to start like as soon as possible, right? So that by the time things are finalized over at the new bank, then the switch can happen like quickly without you incurring any like penalties or fees with your old bank. I hope that's clear. So in my case, I did this with Standard Bank. So I did it on the Standard Bank app, on the banking app. There's an option there on the app where you can give your 3-month notice to cancel. It's very simple and easy. Or alternatively, you can just give them a call and notify them of your intention to cancel your bond or home loan. Now, the switch to the new bank will only happen, right? Important to note, it will only happen after the 3 months waiting period is done. So for example, if you give your old bank notice on the 1st of August, then the switch can only happen from the 1st of November. And in the meantime, you will use that time to apply to your new bank, negotiate your interest rate with the new bank, as well as start the process of registering your bond with the new bank. Once that is done, once you have given your 3-month cancellation to your old bank, now you can start the application with the new bank. As I mentioned, it's pretty much the same process as applying for a new home loan. So you will have to fill out a new home loan application, and submit the required documents. So this will normally be a copy of your ID, your most recent payslip, your 3 months bank statement. And if these are rental properties and you're renting them out, then you need to include the lease agreement as proof that you are indeed renting them out and receiving income. And they will also obviously verify this on your bank statement as well. Then you send through your application with all the required documentation, and then you wait. And you wait. I mean, it doesn't take that long, but you will get the following frequent communication from FNB, and in this order. So the first one is notifying you that they have received your application and that they are busy processing it, right? And this will be like after a day or two from you sending them your application. Then the second communication will just be to let you know that your application has been approved in principle, and they will give you a first view of the interest rate they would like to offer you. It's just a first view, it's not final, but they will give you that first view, and they will let you know that this is pending the result of a successful valuation on your property, right? Then the third communication you will receive from them will be to notify you that they have to conduct or request a property valuation to be done, right, on your property. Then the fourth communication will then be to notify you that the property valuation has been successfully completed. And then the fifth one, and this is like the fifth and final communication from them in this process, will be to let you know that the application has been successfully approved. So congratulations! And they will include the final quote with the interest rate, right, that they're offering you, and the details of the agreement as well. So things like, did you get 100% of the value that you had requested, the initiation fee, duration of your home loan, T's and C's, etc., right? And it's very, very, very important that you take some time to read this document carefully. Now, that whole process should take about 2 weeks on average, like 1.5 to 2 weeks, but definitely not longer than 2 weeks. Then the consultant working on your case will then ask you, is there anything on the offer that you are not happy about, that you would like to be reviewed? And in my case, I was still not happy with the interest rate, even though it was lower than what I was paying at Standard Bank. But you know what? I wanted to see how low they could go, okay? And honestly, there was no harm in trying. So I was like, I'm not happy with the interest rate. I'm moving over 2 home loans. 2 times business I'm sending over to you. You guys can definitely do better. So I asked them to please review the interest rate on both my home loans, and they came back and they actually reduced it again by 25 basis points on both of them. So for each of them, which made me very happy. So the final offer was 7.5% on one home loan and 7.25% on the other. But it didn't stop there. The consultant will then let you know that if you move your home loan to FNB and you're banking with FNB, there's an opportunity for you to decrease your interest rate by a further 25 basis points. But of course, the catch is you have to bank with FNB. And I had been banking with Standard Bank, as I mentioned in the beginning, since I was a child, and not really happy with them in my adult years. And for me, I think maybe this was the push I needed to completely change banks, because I've been wanting to leave Standard Bank for the longest time, but I was just too lazy, to be honest, to do it. So now, since I decided to actually move, my final interest rates on both home loans was 7% and 7.25% respectively. Remember guys, prime is now 9%. 9%. So these are amazing offers I got at FNB, and I was extremely happy. Of course, this doesn't mean that I will never move again to another bank or even go back to Standard Bank if they offered me lower interest rates further down the line. I move with the ones that will save me money in the long run, and that's just how it goes. So once I was happy with my offer, and I pretty much read through the documentation, I signed it, I sent it through, and then received communication from the consultant that they handed the matter over to the bond attorneys. And these bond attorneys will then start the process of registering my FNB bond, because now I no longer have a bond with the old bank, so the new bond has to be registered. The best part is that FNB actually covers the bond registration fees, which is amazing, right? And registering the bond, this is honestly the not so fun process. And in my case, I had 2 home loans, which were handed over to 2 different law firms or attorneys. So I had to deal with 2 different attorneys in this process. So the lawyers will then receive instruction from the new bank that this person would like to switch over their home loan over to us. Please, can you register their new bond? And of course, I did mention that FNB covers this cost for you. The lawyers, right? Once they have received the instruction, they will then from the new bank, right? They will then contact the old bank and ask for the cancellation figures. So they will want to know how much do you still owe the old bank, and whether the amount that you have requested or you've been offered from the new bank is able to cover and pay or settle the loan you have with your old bank. And 2 things to note, right? If the lawyers approach the new bank within the 3-month cancellation period, so it's not over, it's not done yet, then there will be cancellation fees that the old bank will charge. This means that the lawyers will need to wait it out until the cancellation period is over before approaching the new bank, so that you are not responsible for any fees, right? That's the first thing. The second thing to note is that if there is a deficit between what you owe the old bank and what the new bank have offered you, then you are responsible for paying that amount. An example, if you still owe the bank, let's say 500,000 Rand, and that's the balance on your home loan, and maybe the new bank, even though they gave you a lower interest rate, they only offered you 480,000 Rand, right? Which you were happy with and accepted. Then you will have to pay that 20K difference. And I'm just pointing this out to drive the point that if you don't want to pay anything, then make sure that, number 1, you wait out that 3-month cancellation period, and that the offer that you get from the new bank completely covers the outstanding balance from your old bank, right? But sometimes we do know that it's not always possible to get 100% of the home loan value that you requested. So something that you need to be aware of as well. Once the lawyers have the cancellation figures from the old bank, they will then pay them off and then start the process of registering your new bond. This process can take like 8 to 12 weeks on average, but sometimes even quicker, to be honest. And then obviously for me, I still had to open up an account with FNB, move my salary over to them, and like all my debit orders over to them as well, which the private banker helps you with. And honestly, I was just so happy that I didn't have to spend any of my money for this whole move and process. I mean, the only thing it took was my time, and that was it. And if that wasn't the cherry on top, right? So when you successfully switch your home loan and you bank with FNB, you get your initiation fee back in eBucks. So the initiation fee on both of my home loans was about 6,150 Rand. And because I had 2 home loans that I moved, this meant I got 12,300 Rand in eBucks to spend on whatever I wanted, which is pretty cool, man. I mean, again, I know I repeat this point so many times, but I didn't spend a single cent of my own money in this process. And then I just get given eBucks, you know, just like that, like for free, for mahala, which is obviously an incentive, but a great one, guys, you know. And I'm already saving on the total interest that I have to pay on both of my home loans. And then I'm pretty much getting free money as well, like free money. Like, I honestly love my new bank already. And I really hope that I will be happy banking with them. I really do. I don't think there's a perfect bank out there, but I'm really happy with the FNB offer that I got. So tell me, guys, you know, those that do have home loans, which institution is your home loan with? Are you actually happy with your current interest rates? Would you think of switching, like, you know, to a different bank? Please let me know in the comment section below. If you can tell, I'm very happy, okay, extremely happy with my current interest rates. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well, and that, you know, it gave you insight into the journey of switching your home loans between banks. Till next time, bye.